Hello, so this is Immortalized 007 from cxrbon.dev staff. One thing we get asked a lot is like, why isn't our aimbot locking? Why are we having issues with XYZ? So I just wanted to go through and make like a full video on like how to config, what does what, and just give some insights into like helping you guys make a proper config. So the first thing we have is the aim settings. We have aimbot. You have your activation key, which is the key that will work for yourself. You have include bots, which if you're going to play like bots for testing, turn that on. You have target teammates, which will, for all intents and purposes, like in deathmatch, allow you to lock to your teammates in deathmatch. Turn that on. You have your aim range, which is how many degrees the aimbot's going to lock on. I like about, what I've been running is about 4.3. You have your aim range. Your aim range in here is just, in all intents and purposes, FOV slider, or sorry, FOV circle. So next you have your ignore zone, angle near where aimbot won't work. So leave that. I like this about like 1 degree. That just basically means like you can see I'm not gonna lock until I get super close. Like also it's like the aimbot's not gonna kick in. If I'm directly on someone's head, the aimbot's not gonna kick in because I'm already on, so it's inside that ignore zone. Next you have your smoothing. I'm honestly, this is an external. You don't need super high smoothing. My preferred smoothing is 4. I keep the start delay, how long in time it takes for the aimbot to activate when you have a target. Next you have your target areas. So if you want to, make a more legit config, add different sections. You have your targeting priority, so you can do closest distance, closest to aim, lowest health targets. I usually do closest to aim, that way aimbot locks to whoever you're near. You have visible only, which is going to allow you to lock on to targets only that are visible. So like this guy, I'm not going to lock on because there's a wall there. Now that I can see him, aimbot's going to lock on. You have sticky aim. This is basically just force aimbot onto a target. You will, for all intents and purposes, be locked onto this target until either they die or you leave the FOV circle. You have your lock indicator, which this is just going to show you the bone that the aimbot is currently locked onto. Let me find another target. So you can see like it shows me that's locked onto the head. You have your force beam. This will force body targeting when the enemy is below a certain health. So if you're like, I know my weapon does 25 damage, then I want to shoot for the body to just ensure they die. It'll help the aimbot react faster. And then you have your velocity check. So this will just make sure that like I have to be walking, moving with the most accuracy before the aimbot locks on. That way you're not just like running around a corner thinking it's not gonna lock on because I have too much speed. And then when I get nice and close, I've stopped moving, it'll lock on to make sure your shots are more accurate. Then you have your trigger bot with your activation key. You can target teammates again. You have your delay, which is standard. You have your burst count. So for burst count, it'll trigger bot will shoot that many bullets each time. It's like if I have my burst bullets on 3, I don't know why it didn't fire there. So C3 bullets because I have my burst bullets on 3. You have random delay, so this will just add a random amount of delay to your trigger bot, make it less detected. Same thing, you have velocity check, only work if it's on the ground. And then you have sync hitboxes. And this will just basically say only use the trigger bot if the aimbot is locked onto the target area. So that's pretty cool if like you're using head and then you wait for the aimbot to lock onto the head and then sync your trigger bot. We have RCS. So we have 2 modes. We have standalone and then non-standalone. If it's standalone, it will work without the aimbot being active. And then if you turn that off, it will only work with the aimbot. Generally, our RCS is undetected, so I leave standalone on. I do 80-80. I do 5 smoothing. I start it after 3 bullets because I don't really care about pistols. And then I do humanize as well, so that way it adds very little bit of input error, helps, you control your recoil to the best of your abilities, but also remaining undetected from backlight because 80-80 is very strong. I usually do 50-50. Then you have, if you want to make like specific weapon groups, you can come down here and use custom settings for each weapon in the aim tab. So this covers pretty much everything in the aim tab. Next we have our visuals tab. So we have a toggle key if you want to, have it on only a certain key. So you have show teammates, you have show bots, and then you have ESP while dead. So that way, like if you want to turn off your walls while you're dead, you can. You have we have bounding box. So that's, your standard box ESP. You can pick, your style, filled, a corner box only, a 3D, or just normal. You can set your thickness, your padding. I usually, if I do a bounding box, I just leave these default. And then you can have weapon, you can have it as text, icon, or both. I personally like icon only. You can do player name ESP, player flag, so you can see distance, location. We're gonna probably add, I'm gonna see if we can add more of these in the future, but for now, this is everything essential you need. You have your health bar next to the opponent, so that's just, the bar on the left with how much health they have, so I can see like this guy's pretty low, that guy was full health, I can see there's a few that are damaged out there, blah blah blah. You have animated health, which is this is just going to be, when they take damage, gives you a little animation on the health bar. Probably be easier to see up close. Yeah, so you can see like it's flashing down. a smooth drain. You have your armor bar, so you can see how much armor they have left, and you have your skeleton. You can do smooth bones, which will just smooth out the skeleton, and then add bone glow. So, I usually like about 1.4, 1.5. Of your colors, we don't have them next to, we just have this nice and clean. So if you want to change the colors, like if I want to change the box to like red, then come in here. I can change the name, I can change the box color, I can change the bones. I like pink, don't ask why. You can use a custom health color instead of green red if you don't want to do that. You can change, one thing we have is you can change every single flag color that you have. So like if you want to change, so I have distance and location. If I want, that's too confusing for me to look at, I'm going to change distance to like a blue. Then, now I have blue and that. Then we have our world. You can add, bomb ESP, fire zone, smoke timer, Molotov timer, see how long you have remaining for each one. You can see weapons dropped on the ground, their ammo. These aren't really going to work in deathmatch, so there's not much I can show for these, but probably towards the end, I'll hop into a competitive real quick and show you guys that. You have a custom scope crosshair. I need to die and buy scouter and op. I don't know why I killed him. Holy bots are bad. So, you see you have the custom scope crosshair in the middle. You have your directions crosshair. I'm not a big fan of directions indicator. Okay, now you can see all that in the arrows, like how far each target is from you, their health bars. You have damage numbers. You can select it to show all teammate damage. You can display the remaining target's health. I need one sec, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. We're making a video with an upset stomach. So we have damage numbers. So you have custom colors for a kill shot, a headshot, a body shot. You can change the hit group labels. You can show their remaining health, your damage only, and then, so this will just show your damage, whereas if I have it off, it'll show everyone's damage. I'll show you how this works. So you can see I got the red color there first because it was headshot, then I get the orange color because the kill shows me their total health left. So I have minus 14, 0 left, 85, 68, 53. Good to see how much you're hitting for. You have your radar. Our radar is very nice. It should automatically center on top of, in my case it doesn't because I have a very large screen with a very large. I'm not a fan of this. You can change the outline, crosshair color, local players, enemies, teammate colors, where the bomb is, show distance to the players, show a nice little scanner icon. This is your range, how far it goes, the zoom, how zoomed in or out you are, total size, size of each blip, show enemies, show teammates, show bomb. You can do your displays, show dropped weapons. Next you have sound ESP. So this is just your standard, I see them moving. It gives me a nice little sound effect where they're moving. This is very nice for closet shooting if you don't want to have full box on, but you want info on where they are, where they're going. Also, I forgot you can change the activation key, told, toggled, always. Mine is on always, so that's why mine looks very locky. You can change your styles, how long they'll stay active for, the radius of them, thickness, the distance you want to see, how they fade away. Use team colors for your teammates. Show intensity. So this just makes them more intense the faster they're moving. You can ignore walking enemies, so that way, if they're shift walking, you don't hear them. Next we have our MISC tab. So you have your menu key. You can show your spectators. You can set a frame limit. If like you're having ESP lag, the best thing to do is match your display, cap your FPS limit roughly around where your display is. You have your watermark, which you can see everything in there. I don't know how my VRM's at 0%, but whatever. You have a benchmarking panel. If you're having issues with something, you can show your move spread velocity here. So like this will tell me, I'm in red, I'm inaccurate here. Now I have green, I'm accurate, I can shoot freely. Like if I shoot like this, it's just shoot all over the place. I'm green, I'm accurate again. Night mode, dims your display. You have, your hit sound, obviously. Now that's just going to give me the skied hit marker. I don't even have game sense, I'm not him. You have your hit marker. Change the color on that. See when you hit. You have your priority. This will give you, there's a player widget menu here to see players in your game, their stats. I'm not in a real game. I'm also not going to queue for one, but this should, understand how to do that. Maybe I will queue. You can verify your build if you have any issues. Cat is, the dev. You can join the Discord from here. There is a configs channel in there. If, you do have issues, there's the carbon-configs. You can set an auto load. I have, my configs and my meme names. One thing I will do real quick is we'll take this to competitive.
They're gonna wish they were never born.
Make sure you know turn off your teammates. That's why I'm on showing. That's one thing people can ask. It's like you can see, if I go into player equipment, ground weapons, smoke timer, Molotov timer. So I'll show you, how long it has left there. You can see now, dropped Glock 18. So dropped Glock 18 over there. Drop P2000 here. Change your max distance. You can do text icon or both. So like you can see now they dropped their Glocks, they bought other secondaries. And then let's load into a game of casual real quick so I can show off the player manager. This is going to pretty much, conclude the video once I show off.
Let's roll.
So I can see, now I can go into the player manager. I can block, if I don't want to aimbot on this person, or like, oh shit, this guy's cheating, I want to prioritize them. But otherwise, there's not too much to change in here. Other than that, if there's any more questions, I might update this at some point. But thank you guys for watching.